Come on, y'all. We need a little bit more. Okay, okay. We got three people. Okay. Okay. Come on in. Come on in because today I'm going to be talking about the subject, the title of this video, which is your feminine emotions are the key to your reality. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with y'all a lot of secrets. Okay? So I feel like um I enjoyed the last live, so I had an idea that I should go live and I should really give you guys some gems, give you guys some big gems, some of the things that I'm actually going to be including or have already included in Valued and Worthy. So this is one of those videos that I'm probably going to be adding to Valued and Worthy, specifically going into module 3 of um the emotional manifestation part of the course. So there's three, actually there's four main sections to Valued and Worthy, which if you don't know, Valued and Worthy is my signature course that is designed to help women to manifest their dream life, specifically in the areas of money and love. So the first module is all about releasing so you can prepare to get ready to manifest what you want to manifest. The second module is all about conceiving. That is us putting our desires out there and getting really planting the seed for what we desire to experience in love and money. And then in the third module, we're getting into how to magnify the manifesting experience. And we're doing that through our emotions. So this video is like a prerequisite to module 3 because in module 3 I dive deep into every single emotion. All right, there's really 5 emotions. Every single emotion that women have and how we respond to those emotions, how we react to those emotions, and how our reaction to those emotions is a part of our manifesting. Okay, is a part of our manifesting. And so the thing is, when we manifest, when we are pouring our energy into reacting to in a certain way emotionally, it pours into creating a certain reality. So this is the video that is basically me. This is the prereq, and this is me really diving into like what you really don't want to do. Okay, what you really don't want to do. Like this is what you should not do if you want to manifest your dream love life and the money that you want. Like, because if when you fall into these things, these kind of gaps, you're going to end up doing the opposite basically, which is manifesting by default, manifesting and continuing to perpetuate emotionally a reality that you don't want. So we dive deep into that in Valued and Worthy. The link to that is in the description if you are wanting to sign up to that and enroll. Also, in the Wealthy Woman Activation Training, I'm giving you an exercise that you can do to um, basically shift immediately into the energetics and the wish fulfilled, right? Having the desire that you want financially or romantically in your love life, stepping into that wish fulfilled immediately. So the Wealthy Woman Activation is also, the link to that is also in the description. Um so yeah, okay, it's been about 6 minutes. Oh Lord, I need a moderator in the chat, y'all. I need a moderator in the chat. I need a moderator. If anybody would like to moderator, if anybody would like um to be a moderator, please let me know. Um because I don't want this to distract me while I am on here. So, all right. Hey, Tashian the Divine. Let me know if I said that right. Peace to Tashian the Divine. She says, hello, I am new to your channel, getting into your videos. Welcome. Welcome to Earth's Feminine. Welcome. Okay, Tashian says she'll be a moderator. Okay. So I'll make you a moderator because when I do the vertical lives, the trolls, they come in. The trolls, they come in. All right. So let's see. We got 3 people in the room. All right. 3 people. That's good. That's good. 3 people is good. All right. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. The more people are going to come, I'm sure. So, all right. Your feminine emotions are the key to your reality. First thing is first, all right? The number one thing that holds women back from manifesting their desired reality is emotional reactivity. Emotional reactivity, reacting to things emotionally by default, just reacting to stuff, okay? And then having all these negative emotions and channeling it in the wrong way. That is the number one way that women fall into the trap of consistently creating a reality that they don't want to be in when it comes to money and when it comes to love. Really, just period in general. But this is the number one thing: emotional reactivity. Okay? Emotional reactivity. Let's get into this. The first thing that you need to understand is that manifestation, the law of attraction, the law of assumption, all of it is dealing with one thing and one thing only. One thing and one thing only. If anybody can guess what that thing is, okay? If anybody can guess what that thing is, I'll give you a surprise. I'll give you a surprise. You get a little treat, okay? So, I'll give you a chance to guess what that thing might be. Oh, Tashian is on it, child. Tashian is on it. All right. Thank you so much for being a great moderator. So, the number one thing that the law of attraction, the law of assumption, all of these things have in common is that they are talking about the subconscious mind. The law of attraction kind of goes like into other things, it's more vast, but especially the law of assumption. The law of assumption is talking about the subconscious mind. Okay. I did a video. Actually, I'm not even really sure if I mentioned this in my video that I did. Y'all can check out this video after I'm finished with this live. It is called How to Connect to Your Feminine Energy Through the Moon. Um, I did a video and talking about how to connect to your feminine energy through the moon. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in that video, so I'm gonna go ahead and mention it now. But Our subconscious mind is the moon. Our subconscious mind is the moon. Okay? Neville Goddard talks about this in his book about how and why you need to manifest in certain ways. When it comes to hypnosis and hypnotherapy and self-hypnosis, the self-hypnosis of affirmations and all of these things, they're doing it. People want to be hypnotized into believing certain things. And Neville Goddard preaches and teaches that in order to manifest, you have to work with the energy of your subconscious mind. Even Neville Goddard talks about how the subconscious mind is it from the man's perspective is your woman, right? Is your woman. That in order to manifest what you want, you have to tend to your woman, your inner, which is your relationship to your subconscious mind. Not a lot of people clock that, and not a lot of people pay much attention to that. Again, because we live in a world that doesn't really pay attention to that. We just kind of slide over gems, right? Your mind has to be wired to picking up on things and realizing things in order for you to pick up on it and realize it. Otherwise, if you're just there to get what you can get out of it and not to actually understand the thing, not to actually understand the process on a soul level, then you'll get what most people, experience and understand the law of attraction and the law of assumption to be is just a tool to get, you know, to get the thing that they want. Yes. Yes, you may. Now stop opening my door. All right, that's my daughter, y'all. She want another ice cream sandwich. I told her that's too many ice cream sandwiches, but she knows when I get on these videos, she has leverage over me. um, so the subconscious mind is what we're dealing with. And the subconscious mind is the moon. The moon is your ultimate connection to your femininity. Okay? Here on this channel, I talk about how the earth is your primary connection to feminine energy, how Venus is your secondary connection to feminine energy. I also vaguely go into how Neptune is connected, not too much. I haven't delved into that too much yet. But the moon is like the overarching force. It's over the earth, it's over Venus, it's the direct line, right? Because the earth is like connected to the moon in a way to where the earth is 70% water. Like pretty much we don't live on earth, we live on water. We live on water. And then the earth exists on top of the water. The earth exists on the water. Okay? But primarily we're on water, right? So water, if you don't already know, all right, water is connected to the moon. Water is connected to the moon. I also did a video. You can go check out this video after this one so that you can understand what I'm saying thoroughly about the feminine cycles and how we as women are energetically, the blood in our bodies are ruled by the fluctuations of the lunar cycle, of the moon. And really it's the blood of everyone, okay? The fluids of everyone on this planet. But we're more so affected. So I'm saying all this to say, and I'm explaining all this to really break down how our emotions are tied to our manifestations. And the moon is a significant player or piece of the puzzle in that experience. So, what everybody is using to manifest is essentially the moon. They're using the moon to manifest the things into their life, to manifest things into their life. Hi, Precious Jewel 9. How are you doing? OMG, I also have a red ruby ring on my index finger, same hand, sending unconditional love. Oh, nice. Cool. Yes, I have this red ruby necklace set, which is available at my shop. It's linked to this video. If y'all want to get the red ruby set, then that is available. The necklace, the earrings, and the ring is available on my website. But yes, thank you for noticing, Precious Jewel, and thank you for your love. Um, so yeah, so now let's get into emotional reactivity. Okay, emotional reactivity. Everything that we're manifesting is coming from our grandmother moon, the subconscious mind, aka the subconscious mind. I've done other videos on this too. Yeah, like you can go to another video that I did on how to unlock money through feminine energy. I go deeper into our connection to the subconscious mind in that video for sure. Um and it's an older video. So everything that is coming into our reality is coming via our relationship with the moon. Okay, our relationship with the moon is manifesting everything in our reality. Okay, the sun, which rules over consciousness or the like the awareness of the thing, right? This is what is like bringing the thing into actualization, and then the earth is the manifestation, right? Like, so all these three, there's so many things really, there's so many things that play into the creation, but the moon is the sole force of these things manifesting into our life, into our reality. So the moon is a huge player, and the moon rules over our emotions. Okay, our emotions, our feminine cycles are waxing and waning. So when we don't understand how to navigate our emotions, you can only imagine, like, we'll be creating things like either a heaven on earth, or like this just emotionally toxic place. Like, we don't want to be in this place, but the emotional attachment that we have to it is there. So this is what we need to understand about the moon. Okay, the moon rules over our past, and this is what happens when we're living our life, when we're doing things, we're going about life. Something can happen. We can either be triggered become triggered, or we can become, I learned a new word recently, so I'm going to use this word, or we can become glimmered. We can become triggered, or we can become glimmered. No, for real, that's a real word. If that's a real word, okay? And it's basically means like the opposite of triggered. So Winston DeWise says, "Oh wow, caught alive." Yes, welcome to the live. Um, so when we become triggered, when we're going about our life and we're experiencing our manifestations, we can become triggered by the things around us, that the things that come up. And these triggers are either going to cause us to contract into a repetitive pattern, okay? A repetitive pattern of who we believe ourselves to be. A repetitive pattern of emotionally responding to these things in the same way all the time. When instead, when we become triggered, that is basically an opportunity for us to ec- become more aware of our shadows, become more aware of our, it could be our relationship to something that happened in our past, trauma in our past, you know, um, because the moon has to do with the past, with things that have happened to us before that have kind of solidified into our mind, into our body, into our blood. it the memory, okay? The memory. The moon rules over our memories and all of the things that we've been through. So we can either become triggered, or we can use that to become more aware. But the key is in how we react emotionally to that thing. So this is the person, this is the woman that you do not want to be. Okay? You don't want to be the woman who is constantly being emotionally triggered by everything in her surroundings and in her reality, into feeling in a negative way and then staying in that negative energy. And then staying in that negative energy. For example, okay, given the political climate that we are in America, okay, I don't discuss politics really at all. And the reason why is because I don't like, I'm not on a side. Like, I don't haven't picked a team. I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, you know. I don't involve myself in the war of politics because, number one, when you decide to pick a side, it's like, most of the people that I have spoken to, they have strong feelings towards the other party. Okay? They have strong feelings towards the other party. That that's the reason that they basically have chosen to be on whatever side that they're on. I don't involve myself in it because I don't care. I don't care. I do not care what goes on in the political world. Do I find it interesting? Yeah. Do I tune in every now and then just to see, what's going on, what they talking about? Yeah. But I'm not going to allow myself to be emotionally manipulated by politics. I will not. I will not. I'm not going to allow myself to go down the rabbit hole of how Democrats feel about all XYZ things, and or how Republicans feel about all XYZ things, because the reality is we need both, like we need we and both perspectives, right? From both perspectives and from both sides, we can find enlightenment. We can find something that serves our life or serves what we need right now moving forward, right? In this day and age. Okay? When it comes to the moon, and also, let me think what maybe video I mentioned this before. I've mentioned this before. I can't think of what video it was about the moon's relationship with Neptune and how Neptune actually I probably have never mentioned that on this channel because I recently gave my mom a birth chart reading for her birthday, and that was where I remember talking about this. So um the moon and Neptune have a relationship, okay? And Neptune is the planet of the divine, of the mystical, of guidance, right? Whenever people are talking about God and how God spoke to me and synchronicities that they experience, um aha moments, like feeling like this presence of a higher force, that's Neptune. Okay, that's Neptune playing in because Neptune's energy rules over the divine, synchronicities, things like that. It can also rule over illusions in the negative aspect, but we're not going to talk about that today. um, but Neptune and the moon have a relationship. The reason being is that Cancer is esoterically ruled by Neptune, and Cancer in exoteric or Western astrology is ruled by the moon. So there's this relationship that the moon and Neptune have, and when Neptune, okay, hold on, y'all. I lost my train of thought. Um, I lost my train of thought. Let it come back to me. Let it come back to me. I need some water. I usually have my water here, so that doesn't happen. But you guys help me. The last thing that I said, the last thing that I was talking about will help me get back on the train. Um, so yeah, somebody put that in a chat with the last thing the last thing that I said. Um, so yeah, the Neptune and the moon. Okay, so we were talking about the moon. The moon, Neptune connects to Cancer, right? To the moon and the manifestation. So yeah, I'm trying to remember why I brought up Neptune and the secret synchronicities because that was going somewhere and I was about to hit a point. Um, but the manifestations of the moon, okay? So all in all, okay, it'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. Um, the synchronicities and all of that is connected to the moon. It's connected to our emotions and the divine. So when we are manifesting, the emotional reactivity and being triggered by our emotions, being triggered by the things that are happening in our reality. Oh, it came back to me. It came back to me. Ow. I hit my elbow. What the reason that I brought that up is because the divine has a plan. The divine knows what it's doing. That's why I brought this. This is why I brought Neptune up because when we're emotionally triggered by things, especially things that are literally like out of our control and a part of our experience in the timeline that we're in, when we are deciding to become emotionally, and I'm saying deciding because when you do it once, all right, okay, cool. When you do it twice, okay, cool. But when you do it the third time, it's like at some point you got to be like, dang, why is this triggering me? Like, why does this have so much control over how I feel? Like, why does what Trump does or what Biden does or um what other people decide to do in the world Like, why does that affect me emotionally? Really, why? Okay. And it's because have lost the understanding that everything is happening in divine order. Everything is happening in the way that it's meant to happen. And it's meant to happen in a way that is going to serve you if you allow it to. If you allow it to. So there's a level of kind of like when you are out of touch with the moon, when you're out of touch with the magic that the moon can bring into your life, it's like you ever talk to someone who is so emotionally triggered by something that it doesn't matter what you say, it doesn't matter what kind of reasoning or logic or grounding or changing the subject you try to bring into the conversation, like they just want to be upset. It's like that. It's like you just want to be upset. At this point, I've brought up every possible, thought pattern that you could possibly jump on that can make you feel better about this subject. And you don't want to feel better about it. That's all I have to say. Like, you don't want to feel better about the subject. You want to be upset. You want to be triggered. You want to relish in this energy of lack, of poverty, of this is wrong, that's wrong, this is needs to be changed, that needs to be changed. Like, it's okay to recognize that something isn't the way you want it to be. But the triggering of the moon, and when you get stuck in the triggers of your emotions, will not allow you to move out of that place. You stay there. You stay in that place. Okay? So you don't want to be that person. You don't want to be that woman who is constantly being triggered all of the time by everything and everyone. Child, like, and so much so to the point that you're always thinking that it's someone else or it's something outside of you or it's them, right? It's not me, it's them. Constantly. Constantly. Now, sometimes it really is like these other things really are this way. I'm not telling you to deny that somebody may be treating you badly or somebody may be narcissistic or that, when it comes to politics, that certain things, you don't agree with those things or you don't align with those things. But to sit there and have like hours long conversations about how much you dislike this and how much this aggravates you. And it is just a waste of energy. It is a waste of energy. And you are doing nothing but creating more and more of the reality that you don't want, that you dislike. And this is the thing that also is true for women who need this activation, who need to learn how to channel their emotions correctly and um connect with their healed and aligned aspect of their moon, is that these women tend to also, whenever good things happen, right? Or whenever like somebody in their field or somebody in their reality experiences something really beautiful, this is where you can see like the negative energy get even even worse, okay? So for some, but not all, this can also be like where women start to become jealous and envious. Jealous and envious because how is your reality that easy? How is your reality um working so well for you? How are things just falling into your lap, and like life doesn't work that way. That's not how life works. At least not how I know it to work, you know? So that is something that I clocked. Whenever I won my sweepstakes, my $10,000 sweepstakes, um I learned very quickly that you don't I mean, I don't need to tell everybody about this. I do not need to tell everybody about my sweepstakes win. The only people that I told, right? So these are the people that I told when I won my $10,000 sweepstakes. So I was in a sweepstakes group, um, a membership group, and that was actually the group that I was in that like I found the sweepstakes from and that I ended up winning from. So immediately when I won, I went to the group to tell everybody about my win because those people are there because they want to manifest some stuff. Like that's why they're there. So if I'm going to tell anybody, I'm going to tell the people in the group because number one, there's people in there who are already wanting and aligning their emotions with the things that they want in life. Like they're already on that path of emotionally shifting into a better state in life, emotionally shifting and pouring their energy into good things happening in their life. They're already on that path. They might not be like fully in it like how I was fully in it. Like I have fully focused. I dedicated a period of time, the springtime, actually May, the month of May, to rewiring so many things inside of myself that I felt about money and also love. Okay. Um, I haven't talked much about my love manifestation experience, but that is on the way because I did manifest. I have manifested, okay? But I'll talk about that. Um, Probably again like this video, I'm probably going to talk about it on this channel and then add it to valued and worthy because my love life is very sacred to me. So I really don't like a lot of eyes on my stories about my love life. Um so yeah, that's what I'm thinking about doing. So when I go live, make sure you stay tuned and be ready, okay? Cuz it just might be gone and inside of valued and worthy. Um Sylvia says hi and greetings from Germany. Hello. Greetings. Greetings to Germany. Um so next time I'm going to have notes because my mind. All right, last thing that I said. The last thing that I said. The last thing that I said. I was talking about what was I talking about? Germany. That was the comment. Um my apologies for my short-term amnesia today, y'all. The last thing that I was talking about, if you can put it in the chat, that will help me. Um, Sweepstakes wins, not sharing. Okay. Sweepstakes wins, not sharing. And this is piggybacking off of, okay, how the moon, okay, when you are out of touch with that moon energy, or when people around you, women around you, are not in alignment with their lunar energy, definitely will bring up some jealousy, okay, or envy. Because, okay, I shared, right? So I shared in the sweepstakes group. Wonderful feedback. Everybody was so excited, so happy. Um, but then I noticed something. I clocked something. I shared with my neighbor. Okay, my neighbor is like wonderful woman, like she's been through a lot in life. However, she has this going on. Okay, she has this going on because when I shared my win with her, her immediate response was like you can see the energy on people when they're not used to good things happening, and especially like amazing things, right? Wonderful things, like miraculous things. Um she hasn't had the best life from what she has told me from me being her neighbor for so long, only about 3 years. And when I told her, it was like an immediate like freeze, and then there was no facial expression either. And it was a scrunch in the eyebrows. The body tells everything, okay? You don't want, the body's going to give you away every time. So that was her immediate reaction, and then she went on to say, "Okay, go close my door." I don't have a ribbon. I don't have any ribbons. You have to find that in your room. Close my door, please. Thank you. Okay. All right, I'm gonna have to wrap this up soon because she's getting restless without me. Um, okay, so eyebrows, okay? Her eyebrows scrunched up, and it was like, well, are you sure it's real? Immediate, right? Immediate response. Are you sure it's real? Because a lot of people are scammers, and people will scam you, and you know, you have to watch out. You have to be careful. I was like, I am never telling her anything good ever, ever, ever again. That was enough. That was enough. That was all I needed. Like, I already knew that she was the type of person to be like really hold on, y'all. I'm gonna close my window in case anybody's eavesdropping. Um, but I already knew she was the kind of person to harp on negativity, like how I was talking earlier about politics and things like that. Um, I mean, after that conversation, I started to actually assess like what do our conversations every time do we talk, what do our conversations actually sound like? And then I started to just listen to her talk. And when I listened to her talk, when I tell you like majority of the things that will come out of her mouth would be about stuff I didn't want to talk about. Like, horrible things. Like literally every time, because her daughter and my daughter play on occasion. Every time I would open the door and she would talk to me. Bless her heart. mind y'all, I'm not judging this woman. Bless her heart. She's older woman in her 50s. um, but I noticed like she'd be like, "Hey, did you hear about this house that caught on fire today?" Or um it's just so horrible, you know how, and then we would talk about, like, she would start going to subjects about other stuff, and she would talk about how Airbnbs are horrible, they're evil. People who host Airbnbs are greedy, evil people, right? People with money, like Elon Musk and whoever else has like lots of money. Um Horrible people, greedy. Like, and I'm like clocking like all of our conversations very rarely, unless I shift the conversation, unless I intentionally be like, I don't want to talk about this. We are not talking about this. I don't care. I'm not pouring my energy into this. I don't care. Like, okay, there could be some people who run Airbnbs who are greedy, who just be, doing things unethically and all of that stuff. I don't care. I don't care about those people. I'm not going to pour my energy into those people. There could be all this stuff going on in the world and in politics and all of that. I don't care. I don't care. So ultimately, when you are aware of your emotional power, you are not going to care about things and invest your emotions into things that you don't care about. Okay? Stop emotionally investing into things you don't care about. And at first, it's going to take practice. You're going to have to catch yourself when you do it and consciously choose to not talk about it, to not pour your energy into it. But you can't do that if you are triggered, right? If you are just immediately triggered. So the key here is in becoming aware that you are being triggered. And instead of being triggered, you can become glimmered. I mentioned that earlier. Um, but basically, you become aware of what it is that is emotionally going on with you and where these feelings are actually coming from. The trigger will continue until you deal with the emotion and where the emotion is coming from. Okay? Wealthy Woman Activation Training. The link is in the description. My 3 steps to help you basically do what I'm talking about right now in becoming it and starting that journey to emotional mastery. So the link to that is in the description. Again, Valued and Worthy is where we're going to go super deep into mastering the main 5 emotions that women have to deal with. Jealousy is actually one of them, and how to transmute those emotions so that they can empower you and pivot you in the direction of where you want your emotions, or where you want what you want to manifest, and not what you don't want to manifest. Because this is the thing, this is what she doesn't know, right? My neighbor, I'm gonna use her as an example. um this is what she doesn't know. She doesn't know that every time she's doing that, every time she's pouring her energy into all these things that she just doesn't like, it is lowering her vibration, lowering her vibration, lowering her vibration, and it's making her more of a match to more shitty things happening to her in her life. And this is why I started to really understand that Everything that we manifest in life really is a product of our own doing. If we really, really choose to be honest with ourselves and to see how we're playing the part, it's really of our own doing. So you have to have a relationship with magic, with the divine, with um the esoteric, with the higher realms of things happening for you to have a healthy connection with the moon. Because if you don't, you're going to just think, "Oh, all of these manifestations are that doesn't have anything to do with magic or spirituality or all of the 12th house Pisces types of things." It does. It does. It has everything to do with that. So if you're not a spiritual person, which most women are pretty spiritual, um if you have a hard time having faith in your intuition and moving in a more spiritually protected way, like your emotions are going to be all over the place. You're going to let them be all over the place. And I mean, the reality is a lot of people enjoy. They don't think they enjoy it, but you have to enjoy it if you keep doing it, right? You have to enjoy it if you keep doing it. So, yeah, this is something that my neighbor doesn't quite understand as of yet. And it's funny because when things happen around the apartment or like just like in general, like she experiences life living where we live much differently than the way I experience it. Like there are people who live in these apartments that like she has a like very bad relationship dynamics with. And even the people who live here that kind of you would think, yeah, like they deserve, like I wouldn't have a healthy relationship with that person. It's like, um, for example, there's somebody who lives down the hall from us, and he has been the thorn in everyone's foot in this apartment complex. And every time I come across this man, he's very sweet, he's very kind. One day, I accidentally left my keys outside, it like plugged into the doorknob. I left my keys in the doorknob, and he knocked on the door and let me know that my keys was in the doorknob. Like, I'm like, dang, everybody hates this guy. I mean, because they have their reasons, but I'm like, my experience is like it's pretty good. Like, and that goes for pretty much other people in this apartment too. Um, but there's been experiences where not too long ago, there was some lady down the hall and her dog, she had her dog running around off leash, and me and my neighbor were both like talking to each other because she lives across, like literally directly across the hall from me. And we were talking, and then her dog just comes and decides to poo in front of my neighbor's door. Like the just took a big old poop right on all up in front of her door. And I'm like, nah, I know you. I actually felt really bad. Like I want to get her I want to get her a new doormat. Cuz I felt bad. But I'm like, this lady literally, like, she just attracts the worst stuff like happening to her, and I know why. I'm not even going to pretend like I don't. I know exactly why, and this is why. Because she has no awareness over her emotional standpoints and how much she invests herself emotionally into different things. So I was like, yeah, like constantly and majority of the time. And this is where I also started to realize like, okay, I need to have a little bit more boundaries because I'm the type of person that people love being around and talking to and just spilling everything to. And I was realizing, like, I was like, you know what? My neighbor has a lot of opinions, a lot of negative opinions. And I don't care. Like, I don't want to hear it. I I love you as a neighbor, but I just really don't care. I don't want to hear all of this mess. Emotional mess. So that's a place that you get to, right? For me, I was able to really assess through my neighbor and watching her assess, okay, where am I doing this as well? Where am I just emotionally reacting to things? And even before her, I was doing it. But I think experiencing her, I was really like, let me make sure I'm on it. Let me make sure I'm on it because you can't wish for a better life and want for a better life. I mean, you can in a way, but I think things will just happen so much quicker, right? Even if you have the desire and you have all of this emotional gunk, I believe things can still manifest for you, but it just won't be as good. And you might end up self sabotaging and messing everything up because emotionally, you're letting everything control you. You're letting everything dictate how you respond, how you think, how you react. You're not in your power. You don't have any power actually because you're in this constant state of negativity. All right. So this aligns with the video I recently did on make sure you remove broke and toxic people from your life, broke toxic energy from your life. Um and honestly, like because that it's like a parasitic energy when you want to stay in these toxic places emotionally. So, also energetically cleansing will help you to really be able to do that. Okay. Physically cleansing, parasite cleanse. All right. Parasite cleanse, y'all. Make sure you're parasite cleansing those parasites out of your body. Okay. We've all got them. But there needs to be a balance, right? There needs to be a balance in your body. And for a lot of people, their body is out of balance and, you know, it can get out of whack. So, Sylvia says, have to bring my kids to bed now. Bye bye. Have a beautiful day. Bye bye, Sylvia. Thank you for joining us. AJ Desire says, thank you. You're welcome. So, yeah, make sure y'all parasite cleanse. That will help a bunch with you being able to just have more clarity and being able to understand what's going on with you from a clear mindset, okay? And not from you being controlled because this is the thing, like the parasitic energy, your shadow, right? Your shadow from the traumas of your past, which is related to your moon, that shadow of your moon, that stuff likes to relish and be in the negativity. It likes to be there. It likes to stay there. Okay? It is important when you are doing shadow work And when you're going on the healing journey, which you also do through your moon, um, I have a video I did on that on my Asaya Mystic channel. I may add that video to this channel in my members only. Um, or I might add it to Value and Worthy. I'll see. I'll think about that. But the shadow work that you do when you are healing your moon, let that not be mistaken for when you are relishing in staying in the same emotional dynamic with yourself. It's not the same. Doing shadow work means that you're going to the dark place and you are becoming aware, which is what I'm talking about, which is what, like, the triggers, when the triggers come up and when you're seeing, like, why am I asking yourself, why am I reacting to this thing consistently in this way? Like, especially you'll be able to see it if it's a pattern and it comes up all the time, all the time, all the time. Um, when you ask yourself that, okay, why am I reacting in this way? It's different. This is the shadow work that you need to do. And that's different than staying and just wallowing in that negative energy, wallowing in that place. So, all right, y'all, I'm getting ready to get off. I have a few more minutes. If anybody has any comments or questions about this subject, okay, about your emotions being the key to you manifesting your reality, being the key to your reality, and all of those things, now's your chance to ask me before I hop off. The Destiny Ari says, love your content. Thank you. I appreciate you all for tuning in. The live videos have been pretty fun and pretty engaging. So, and you all have been showing up. So, I'm here. I'm here. Thank you for this live. Loved it. Thank you, Tashian, for moderating for me. I appreciate you so much. And sticking through to the end, girl. Go ahead. You came from the beginning to the end. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I love my loyal subscribers. I love my loyal subscribers. I reward loyalty over here. Can you give advice on how to simply allow God to guide me to my destiny while also using my creative powers without being consumed with the desires? All right, hold up. Let me run that one back. Can you give me advice on how to simply allow God to guide me to my destiny while also using my creative powers without being consumed with the desires? When you say consumed with the desires, can you get a little bit more specific as to, like, what happens with that so I can better answer your question? Because I could say a lot of things to, like, how to allow God and the divine universe to guide you. Um, so knowing what the pain point is will help me better answer. The Destiny Ari says these safe spaces are needed amongst us. A lot of things are often not recognized or swept under the rug, and that's true. I mean, I grew up. That's the main reason. If I'm gonna be honest with y'all, this is the main reason I created this channel. Um, Growing up, I mean, I I can't say that I always had a safe space within my family. Like, telling the truth and having a discussion about what's really going on without being dismissed, without being gaslit, without being told that, oh, you're just, um that's not what it is, and you're just imagining things. Like, I've struggled with that, right? Like creating or having finding my community, really finding my community. But it's within my path to create that community. It's in my birth chart, y'all. So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to create the community. The people who are meant for this community are going to come. Um, and it's really beautiful because when I first started this channel, it took a little minute, okay, for the, like, the people to show up, because it was a challenge growing it at first, because I was experiencing just a bunch of angry men, like, on my channel in the first year, I think, of being on. But now I really feel like, okay, this is the space, this is the place where everything that comes up for me in regular life that I can't talk about with my neighbor, that I can't talk about with my friend that I go out and party with, or with, my family member that, is has known me for so long but might not necessarily be there. This is the space for that. So I'm glad that this is serving you as well, the Destiny Ari. All right, Kari says, how can I use my feminine energy to attract abundance from the lottery? Okay, um, so this, okay, the soft life experience and the wealthy woman activation. So the soft life experience is an add-on to the wealthy woman activation. I highly recommend that you get that. The link is in the description. Because I go into exactly how to use your feminine energy to do that. Um, but what I would say is use your feminine energy. So, referencing this video, you want to get your emotions in alignment with the reality of you receiving winning something. You want to get your emotions in alignment with you receiving and winning something. So that means that you want to start telling yourself that you're a winner. You want to start telling yourself that you're a grand prize winner. You want to start affirming that you've won already. You've won already. Um you want to get into the headspace and the emotional space of feeling like you won money. You just won a bunch of money. So I know when I won my $10,000, that was one of the things that I did was I got into the feeling of being a winner, of being a grand prize winner. So you should actually go and watch that video, how I manifested my $10,000 sweepstakes win. That will also help you to understand how to attract abundance from the lottery. But a lot of times, the lottery is just a way for us to receive money that we don't have to necessarily do anything to get. It just comes. So it could be from the lottery. I recommend that you, like, open up open yourself up to all of the channels, because there's so many different channels that you could receive money from. So um yeah, I think I have another video that will be good for that as well, that I did. Let me see if I can. I have over 100 videos now, so I don't even, I'll be trying to think of, like, what's that video that I did? Um, let's see. Become a feminine money magnet. You should watch that video as well. So, become a feminine money magnet. How to let the universe bless you with large chunks of money. And if you really want to like get it, then the wealthy woman activation with the soft life experience. All right. Um all right. So Tashian the divine says, basically, can I set my intention for what I desire, align with my emotions and just forget it? Are manifestation practices needed? It depends on what you want to do. Is do you like the point of doing so the point of doing manifestation practices is it's supposed to be you playing. Okay, so this is what manifestation is. Might get into this, like go do another live video on this. But manifestation is you playing with your imagination and choosing to live as if this imaginary world is your real life. That's manifestation. So if you feel confident in like that being enough, you can do that. However, when you play with the different techniques, and this is what I go into in module 2 of Valued and Worthy, all of the different like easy for me, like to me these are like the easiest ways that you can literally live in your imaginary world in real life. That is going to basically solidify that it's done already in your being, like in your mind, in your being. If you don't feel like if it's a strong desire, I recommend that you do practices, that you do different things. That all of that I break down in module 2 of Valued and Worthy. Um all the types of things that you can do. Okay? I call I call this module the conceiving module, but if it's a strong desire, you want to do manifestation practices. If it is a desire that you already don't really care that much about, there's no need for you to really do much because you don't have any resistance to it. So, for desires that you don't really care about, I think it's fine for you to set your intention and let it go. But if it's something that is consistently coming up in your reality, you're moving around. For example, if it's money and you are consistently having negative emotions come up around money, then yes, you need to do manifestation practices and techniques because you're currently not in the state of the wish fulfilled. You're more emotionally aligned, you're more emotionally reactive to the things that you don't want. So the practices are to get you in alignment with the reality that you do want and having that be normal. Having that be a normal experience. If you so basically if you're responding to your reality and if this is like love, right? Love. If you're constantly having a negative experience with men in your life or like there's like negative emotions around men and like triggers coming up in relationships all the time, yeah, you need to do some manifestation. You need to do the practices. You need to do the techniques. You need to do that. That's that's what I think because you've got to you have to at this point when you're in that place when you're in your shadow of your moon You have to pull yourself out. You have to make yourself, you have to choose. That's why I'm saying manifestation is a choice. You have to choose now, actively choose, because before you were just subconsciously choosing by default based off of your wounds. But when that's the case, you have to actively choose now because you got to get yourself out of that place. So, I wouldn't recommend you just be like, "Oh, I'll just let it go." If you know that if you're on the opposite end of the spectrum. So, that works if you don't care. If you don't care and it's literally not something that you're having any issues with, like, you know, then yeah, set it and forget it. But if it's something you have a lot of resistance with, you need to intentionally do some work around that. Um, in whatever way feels best. So, all right, y'all. So that is gonna be a wrap. Thank you so much for joining me in today's live video. I'm gonna be going live again, and some of the live videos that I'm gonna be doing are gonna be gems for valued and worthy. I'm gonna add those videos into valued and worthy. So make sure you tune in, okay? Because when the video's gone, the video's gone. But yes, thank y'all so much. I love you so much, and I will see y'all in my next video. Peace.